Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and thanks for stopping by. Our dedicated team will guide you through with the latest updates and theories at Starbase, Texas. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for future streams.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Starbase friends around the world. Astro Joe here for RGV Aerial Photography, Starbase Weekly, episode 124. We got a flyover yesterday, dodging some thunderstorms and some clouds. Yesterday, Friday the 12th. And I'll pass it on over to your host, Stephanie.
G'day from Australia. This is Stephanie B. I'm going to dedicate this stream to my mother, who was passed last week. And I'm very tired today. I've driven 5 hours, so we're going to have Darth run the stream for me today. Thank you, Darth.
No problem, Steph. And we also have Todd with us today.
Hey everyone, glad to be here, Steph. Our love, our sorry, and everything. We're all here with you. Really excited about this flyover. Like Joe was saying, we dodged some storms yesterday. Got really lucky with these shots, and they turned out great. So looking excited to dig into it.
Thanks, and thanks, Lawrence.
And Stephanie, yes, all of us wish our deepest condolences. And with that, we got some photos for today. Let's go ahead and head on over to Massey's and see what we can spot over there.
Thank you, Chet.
Mauricio I was instructed by Mauricio to let our audience know that all donations and proceeds will be sent to Stephanie today. So thank you all for your donations.
Oh, what? Oh, thank you.
Right on, Mauricio. Thank you.
That is a great gesture by our community, the RGV team. We really appreciate all that. So, let's start out over here where all the action will be happening eventually, or most of it.
For once, I'm actually speechless. Hey, this is a good photo showing the door halfway shut. We haven't seen that before.
Yeah, this was a good one.
Yeah, we weren't sure during the show and tell whether it was in the process of opening and closing, but Mauricio informed us that during his flyover, he's gone over Mauricio's Massey's a few times, and the door was in the same position. So we do know it was static in the same position, but it is cool to see it halfway shut there. You got some guys on the edge looking down, possibly hoisting in or out something. Still looks like there's water in there. You can see a little bit of the line down there. But yeah, really nice to see it in this half-open configuration.
Yeah, and you can see all the pipes on the inside here that make up the flame trench bucket, the deluge bucket. Guy working there with the hoist. With all the storms and rain and stuff, it looks like a lot of places are still dirt, but it's actually just mud and dirt that has covered the concrete. We still got a couple of places that still need some concrete up here, but for the most part, it's just been a real yucky week since the last flyover.
Yeah, when we got to this area at show and tell, I had to take a good double look because I was like, wait a minute, what did they rip out? You know, you see dirt, you expect that they tore out some concrete, but yeah, no, there's some low spots where the mud accumulated, and you still got wet spot patches in the area. So it was definitely, it's not as clean as it looks, but at least it's not SpaceX scatter, it's just mud.
Yeah, and it looks like they're still working on some final preparations to get the test stand fully active and commissioned. We know, give me just a second here. We'll get some different shots here.
Try one of those high-angled shots, Lance. Looking up under the SQD frame.
For the most part, a lot of the testing areas kind of slowed down. They, like Lawrence said, we're getting buttoned up so that they're ready to go into full swing of things. But it's definitely slowed down on this side. The one last tank over there, the vaporizer, hasn't been hooked up, but it's they're still doing a lot of the little stuff. It's still good to watch.
So there's been a lot of debate, a lot of conversation now at show and tells how this platform actually moves backwards and forwards. And we can see there's two sets of flex lines or hydraulic lines actually on top of the table. And I'm guessing that that whole platform runs on wheels on the rail. It have to have wheels under there. And perhaps there's a hydraulic motor just turning those wheels without having to need any cogs or any kind of chains or cable drive. Just a simple hydraulic motor turning a wheel. And for now, we'll get a shot. One of them should do. And for now, it appears that they're using a temporary type power pack hydraulic unit. We zoom right in on the table there. You can see it at the back of the table. It seems like that's how it's getting moved backwards and forwards for now. We've been talking about that blue box on the left, whether it has something to do with the hydraulics as well. But at least for now, at least temporarily, it seems fairly obvious that you can even see where the hoses go down the holes on the sides. Down. You can see where the hoses disappear down through the platform through a hole. There. I'm pretty sure that's going down under the platform to connect to hydraulic motors, perhaps.
Yeah, you can see where it goes under. Like, these are definitely going in there. And it looks like they did have some going on this side as well.
Yeah, my first thought would be the drive motors were on the outside, but with these pictures here now that we're seeing with them, seeing the lines go inside of it, I do question whether that blue hydraulic pump there is going to be for that, because then they'd have to have cables that are going to be on it. I mean, maybe they're temporary when they do it and they just take them out of the way, but I definitely am still scratching my head on how they do this. But knowing SpaceX and Elon, it's simple. It's not going to be overcomplicated. It's going to be simple and easy. But we like to overthink things. It's fun.
Absolutely.
Yes, definitely. So we know a little retention pod set up here for when they do start doing testing. As we said, the tank still hasn't been connected. We still have this MOVAC tank here where we believe they're using it to collect water and other things out of the trench. The stand itself hasn't seen very much work since the last flyover.
That's interesting to note. There's an SPMT there, and just in front of it is an SPMT, and it has the plates on it that attach to the second SPMT. So there's obviously going to be a second SPMT arrive there very soon, and it looks like it's going to get transported back, getting ready for, we think,
Ship 30 is what we're expecting to come out
Ship 30.
next.
Yes, thank you.
However, Ship 31 has now been placed on an engine install stand too. So it'll be interesting to see which one they go and grab first.
I swear I'll say the wrong numbers today a few times, so bear with me.
You're all good. And we can see that they're still doing work around, still finalizing everything in the system.
Was there still the plates and the tubes on the far left of the site?
Yeah, give me just a second to get over there.
Darth, while you do that, I just gotta say, man, you guys are awesome. I really love this community, and I'm just gonna say, you guys are all awesome. I thank you guys.
Oh my goodness, Seabreeze, my goodness. Holy hell. He's going to make me cry.
Me too. It wasn't even my family. Well, you're my family, but you know what I mean. Yeah, it's okay. Back to the test structure in the test area.
So the plates are still there, yep, but the tubes seem to have gone, or whatever they were, the mesh. Were they tubes or were they mesh?
Mesh or pipe, whatever they were that was there, have disappeared. But yeah, these plates still seem to be there.
Thanks for bringing that up, Steph. I was a little late for the show and tell, and I didn't see that area, but yeah, it's a good update.
Before we go to the test stand, that white building, we might just go there quickly.
Yeah, they did finally add something to that new slab they had poured. Appears like it's going to be just a covered awning area. We don't see signs of walls. There is a ramp that goes up there to the left. And they still got the doors back there, so they need to keep it somewhat open unless it's just going to be a storage area for the building. But pretty sure this is close to what it's going to look like with a roof.
Yeah, definitely looks like a covered loading, unloading dock, which would make sense.
Yeah, the workers will enjoy some shade. You can't get away from the heat, but shade sure helps.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing before we do move on to the structural test stand, while we're here, we see they still have a piston in this calibration test rig.
I had a funny thought last night. I wonder if that one's just stuck because it's not hooked up. Doesn't look like they're testing it. It's just sitting there. I wonder if it's stuck in there.
Do you often have funny thoughts at night, or sometimes through the day as well? Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's good. So we also know yesterday after the flyover, let me see if I can get a better shot here. So this crane lifted this piece on top of the cell tower here. So looks like they're extending their communications in the area.
I think someone said in one of the chats that they saw that on one of the cameras that it got lifted in already too.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's been installed and
Oh, sorry.
oh, you're fine. So still waiting for some tanks to arrive at the port or be trucked in, whatever. Because now those nice new footings they put in are starting to be covered with dirt again.
I'm thinking they're going to wait. I mean, possibly, or maybe if it's delivery or if it's timing to wait till some more of this test structure is done to get room to get them in there. But we'll see. Speaking of the test structure, our is it the fourth layer?
Yeah, well, could be the fifth, depending on how you want to
Yeah.
look at it. Because there's the bottom ring, then you have your first elevated ring, second, third, and then.
And yep, those and the legs are now vertical in the preparation area.
And just to try and get a better angle here. So you can see the legs have been raised in the back here.
So I'm going to interrupt when Michael Spadlanek said does something like a $200 donation. I'm going to just stop you and say thank you very, very much. Continue on.
Do what you gotta do, Steph, especially when our community's being so generous. So we know we got the 5 ring sections for the next ring to go on to these legs. So it looks like this will probably have maybe 1 more, possibly 2 more.
I think the uprights, I think, indicate at least 1 more again. So there's 1, 2, 3 there now. That 4th one indicates there's going to be a 5th one, yeah.
Yeah, there's something's going on top of that. You got the starter area for the next level, or I mean, maybe a small ring for hooking things to. But yeah, there's definitely not topped out yet.
Yeah, it may not be a full another section. It may be a little squat section with a ring or whatever, like Todd just said. Yeah, for sure.
And one thing we did see is the crane being captured in the action of actually lifting a piston in. And you can actually see they've installed a lot of the pistons already into the base here.
Looks like about 13, 14. And you can see the things that the square bits of steel that hold them in.
Yeah,
especially over there at about 11 o'clock up there. You can sort of see an empty one next to our cylinders up there. Is a good one. And a bit to your left, a bit above your hand now. And right in there, you can see the square frames there quite well.
Yeah, as suspected, those frames that were upside down are now in place, holding all the rams up. So, yep, you guys got that one right on the money.
Keepers is the word I was looking for. Keepers,
okay. Yeah, and they were all laying over here in a pile over here. And this shot is probably the best shot of seeing most of what's going on this structural stand. Because one thing that we now see is how much plumbing they've added coming up into the side platform here. So it will be interesting to see what kind of testing they do end up doing with this stand.
Darth, is this a good picture that shows the top level with the new lines up at the very the current top level?
Thank you, Ken Bond.
Yeah, over there we expect possibly some hydraulic runs. We're seeing some signs that they're going to hard install hydraulic lines that would probably quick disconnects, I believe is what we were seeing last night. So yeah, the plumbing continues to be added, that is for sure.
Yeah.
There's a few thoughts on that one. The two on the left look like they pretty well could be hydraulics. The other ones, I'm hearing people say hydraulics. I'm also hearing people saying it's way too big and could have something more to do with cryo or high pressure gas.
Yeah, I'm after seeing some ground images last night. I noticed this one has these T's on it, and I think there's a T there. So these, I believe, are going to be carrying commodities, and these are probably your hydraulic lines.
Yeah, I agree with that. And there's the smaller one tees up at every single level as well. The smaller of the two bigger ones, sorry. The one on the far right-hand side. It tees up at every single level.
And if you're wanting to test different articles, that would definitely make sense. Especially if you want to test individual sections of an article. So you want to fill the payload bay section versus a methane section versus the lock section. Even if it's just with gaseous nitrogen, then you can do that at each level. And we know that. Go ahead, Todd.
I was just going to answer a question that I saw pop up. I believe it was Cosmic said, is this for ships or boosters? And we think it's a little of everything. At this rate, this is going to be modular, and they will be able to test different sections, possibly with the nose cone gel ships, payload sections. It's going to be an all-purpose testing rig, as far as we can tell. I mean, time will tell for sure, but it looks to be, yes, it will be for ships and boosters and sections of them, test articles.
Kind of like the Swiss Army knife of test structures.
I don't think it'll be like for a full booster, but definitely sections, at least a full tank, and sections and like critical sections that they're going to modify, and perhaps use. We're looking at later versions having thinner steel and so on. There's a lot of things moving forward. As much testing as we have seen to get the ship and booster to the point they're at now, there's still a vast amount of testing to take Starship Super Heavy to the next level where it needs to be to actually start working properly and becoming the final product and start doing things like going to Mars and the Moon and so on.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I meant by booster sections. They won't be able to get a full one in here. They need one heck of a crane to lift it in at that point. But yes, it'll be sections.
Yeah, I didn't think you did. Just sometimes it's best to cover all the different thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
And we hear.
Absolutely.
Between the three of us, we're fairly active in the chats, and we hear quite a few different peoples of all different levels of knowledge in here. And a lot of times what we're reflecting is just what we're reading in amongst our community.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, community. Everyone works together. Everyone's got their specialties, and you just kind of got to soak everything in and take the experts for their expertise and learn. But I'm sure everyone in this chat knows that it's a community, and you guys are showing it right now, big time.
Yeah, definitely. And so with these blue struts here, we believe they're adjustable and will be able to extend to whatever length they need in this structure.
Yeah, and can you go over to the cap? That's the part I was looking for. I knew there was a part that had the lines installed on it with the quick disconnects. The cap over here has also different multiple different places for those blue rams or the knot straps to hook onto. Plus, they have places for rams to hook onto. And now with that ring around the top there, that is what I was meant to be talking about earlier. There's quick disconnect fittings, what appears to be quick disconnect fittings all around it. So they're keeping that modular too, so they can change the setup and run different lines to different rams depending on what they're going to be testing. So just again, we're pretty sure this is the all-purpose test rig.
Yeah, it looks like they installed some hydraulic or pneumatic. It could be either way, but most likely hydraulic lines around it, with them pretty much lighting up the fittings to not only get these, but also the ones up top here. So they should be able to.
I'd say the ones up the top, the ones down so there's the 20 blue steel rods that go down. That's one testing. Then there's the 5 big, and they line up. We think with there's a bracket on each leg. So that actuator will be a lot further down. Oh, they do line up with that, don't they? That may be them as well. I thought mostly just the top, but no, you might be right there, actually, Lawrence.
Yeah, and then, like I said, they can run off, looks like, either side with these as well. So it looks like they've set it up to be, they can plug in whatever they need to at the time.
Yeah, and those will probably be soft lines too. That could be customized in size too. Okay, we need 6 feet for this test. We need 3 feet for that test, and they'll just have a stack of hoses depending on where the rams are at and how far away the disconnects are for them. So, just keeps showing how much this can be used for.
So just to reiterate for everyone who hasn't really been following closely, that booster, the Can Crusher cap now, it has a range of functions. It can have just the blue poles to pull straight down. Then there's those 5 pistons on the sides that attach to the actual legs, halfway down the legs of the big structure, which can pull in 5 different directions or in a different kind of crushing. And then on top of the actual cap, there's a way that the cap can be twisted and also can be moved left and right or forward and backwards. It can add twisting and torsional loads. So this is quite encapsulating test article, this one, more so than we've ever seen before.
Yeah, we know that very strenuous testing with the HLS versions of ship, and I believe this test structure will allow them to test all the structural torque, twisting, pretty much allow them to twist and torture test articles as they need to get them to meet the safety standards that NASA will require for HLS.
Also, go ahead.
The only thing
Okay.
I'm sort of missing, I can't quite get in my head, is this seems to be for barrel sections with a square top. I haven't actually seen something to do particularly with nose cone from the just the nose cone section. You could test the payload section here, but we kind of think most of the testing's done on booster, which doesn't have a nose cone, obviously. And with the ship, it's mostly below the payload area that needs all the structural testing. The payload basically just sits on top. It's not overly structural, if you know what I mean.
One of the things we talked about last night in show and tell, or it might have been a little bit after, but we talked about was that right now it's a very good possibility that ship and booster are just overbuilt because they haven't done these testing yet as much as they wanted to. And as we know from IFT1, I mean, that sucker held together for a long time. So with this testing, they'll be able to lighten the load, lighten the build load, and find out what is its max and what is too much, because too much is just wasted weight to lift into space. So we're thinking also that this could be used just to slim it down and lighten it up and get away from that extra support they did because they didn't know.
That's a good point, Todd. And correct. I mean, we know the way Elon was talking, he said it's only a 50-tonne payload or 15-tonne payload to orbit right now. And that's sort of a reflection of how overbuilt the ship is compared to what the final product will be. Because we haven't seen the final product yet. We're still seeing very much prototypes.
Yeah, he stated the goal was to reduce as much dry mass as possible on the Block 2 and later vehicles. So, overbuilding the prototypes, yeah, that makes sense. Most prototypes are overbuilt. Finessing them, excuse me, still too early. They'll be able to, with this article, know where they could actually reduce that dry mass from.
Absolutely, 100%.
All right, and
Yeah.
so
Boy, they sure got some rain. There's water everywhere still. It's amazing.
yeah, it looked like it had rained. It actually looks like it probably had rained overnight before the flyover, with how wet things still are. Because I know things dry out quickly in the Texas heat.
So I wonder if they're testing every single RAM. Now, these are the RAMs they're taking off this Crown Crusher going into the new test stand, because there's still that set of RAMs next to the test structure up there, next to the nitrogen tank that have been sitting there for ages. These, to me, sometimes look sort of too short. Well, that one anyway, in particular. If you look at the ones that are actually in the test stand up there, that one down there looks a bit shorter, doesn't it?
Yeah, it can, and I'm not sure if that's due to the angle or... Here we go. Or if it is just shorter. But it would make sense if they do have different length pistons as well.
And also, Steph, I mean, they don't have to be too long. They're not trying to pull this thing down 10 feet. They only need to move inches to maybe a foot to give the stress they needed. Maybe the twisting ones might give a little more, but they don't need to go too much, because they'll be able to exert the force that it takes on when it's lifting off or anything in the high G areas without really lots of stroke in the ram. They just need the force.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, cool. I was just sort of looking at the RAMs that are actually in the stand. It might be a bit of an illusion. I thought they were looking taller, but what I'm looking at might be an illusion. And the one that's in that little hydraulic ram tester down there next to the can crusher, that might be a different one to the 20 around the outside, because it's been in that blue frame for a few weeks, I think, that particular ram. It might be an odd ram from somewhere else. Yeah,
Hard to
one.
tell if it's the same one or if they're just working through it. And from there, they go to the staging area by the nitrogen tanks, and then that one will go in. It's hard to tell, but yeah, it might be the same one. We don't know.
Cool.
Yeah, that's also like the one that is next to the support building. They could be doing some long duration testing of them as well. Like, see what their stress, how many hours of use they may be able to get out of these before they need to be serviced or replaced.
We better, at the bottom of the hour, we better take donations and questions, I think, and keep moving on to Sanchez.
All right, I'm going to need a few minutes here because we got a lot of support rolling in. We got an awesome community here. I want to thank Flippers79, Flip Diaz for gifting 5 memberships before the stream started, as well as Callistia Lee gifting one in, and a $10 super chat from Flip Diaz as well for Stephanie B. Love you and all that you do, RGV, Team Space. Toby Wobie gifted 5 memberships. Tim Jones gifted 5 memberships. Jap Kuipers gifted a membership, as well as Wilbo Baggins. Callistia Lee gifted 10 memberships again. Pete 2.0 gifted a membership. Crane Man sent in a $20 PayPal donation. My condolences, Stephanie. Sorry for your loss. Hope this episode gives you some relief from your grief. Kindest regards from Crane Man. We got a $100 super chat from Seabreeze. Thank you so much. Incredible support. For Stephanie B, thanks for being awesome. We got your back. Yazada, $10 super chat for our friend Steph. Flippers79, Flip Diaz, $10 super chat with a heart. James Wilson, $10 super chat. RGB chat has your back, Steph. JS Web Productions, $5 super chat. Much love, Steph. Methane Man, $20 super chat with a heart. Callistia Lee, $10 super chat. We all love you, Stephanie. Wilbo Baggins, £2 super chat. Stephanie. N1 Bug, $10 super chat with a heart. Seabreeze with another $150 super chat. Thanks, RGB, Darth Zoom, Todd, and of course, Astro Joe. Thank you, Seabreeze. We appreciate you, buddy. Crane Man with a question. The black pipes at the edge of the concrete are gone. There are some crane mats there now. And the black pipes that could have been drainage pipes that have been buried, there's a brown strip of soil that looks new surrounding the concrete pad.
Thanks,
Let's
Crane Man.
take
I
a
was
look over
wondering
there.
yeah, thanks. I was wondering what was happening to those pipes.
But yeah, that was basically a statement. I have more to go. Detroit Mission Control, $4.99 super chat. Losing a family member or a loved one is one of the most difficult things that anyone has to ever face. Hang in there. Fat Dougie with a $10 super sticker. Michael Slatonak with a $200 super chat. There's for the rest of the fuel, he says. Thank you so much. Michael Johnson with a super sticker, $19.99. Ken Bond, $99.99. Our condolences for your loss, Stephanie. You're not alone. Seabreeze with another $250 super chat. Michael Stadelmack, I'll match you and raise $50. Robert Burkett, $10 super chat. God bless, Stephanie. Thank you, RGB. Captain Fish with a $10 super chat. Wow. All right. We got question from Crane Man. Could you project a booster inside the new test stand to compare the height of the test stand? I guess kind of like a Photoshop kind of thing. Maybe we could do that after the show. And then Cosmic with a question, is that test stand for ships?
We believe this is going to be for ships and boosters. So they'll be able to use it as a... Yeah, sections, excuse me. not full articles, but test articles like we've seen them do in the nose cone gel and the regular the previous can crusher. We've seen them put the tanks in, do whatever testing they needed to do, twist it, crush it. I mean, we saw the last test tank 14.1, a lot of people now refer to as Slappy, come out, and they just put the and attached these things.
That's funny, yes.
But yeah, they just added these to the side and did the crush test for the for the
Catch points.
the catch points before they rolled it.
All right, I want to thank Moon to Mars for a 1999 super chat. My condolences, Steph, and Miss Jax for gifting a membership. Thank you very much. I do have one question further for William K. Could the white square building at Massey's be for a Raptor repair facility so that engines could be repaired locally instead of going to McGregor?
I've speculated it could. If they could do whatever they could get done local instead of having to ship things all the way back to McGregor, even though it's relatively close, that's still, I believe, an 8-hour drive between McGregor and Starbase, if what I've heard is correct. So that would definitely save time if they're able to just bring one here and do whatever servicing they need, or say they have an issue with an engine during a static fire or other testing, they could take it off here, roll the Raptor platform up under the ship while it's still on the static fire stand, remove the engine, and then just roll it into the building, repair it, put it back on. Or swap engines even, if need be. But I don't know what you two think about that.
Yeah, I think it's you seem to be right. My thoughts are about the same on that. The ability to do it is there, whether or not they do or not. It's going to. I think some of it'll depend on the extent of the repair, but I think they'll be able to do smaller things here and maintain things like or do swaps pretty easily on the stand.
There's reading through chats, there's two chains of thought with that. There is the thought that doing it locally has pros and cons, and not doing it locally has definite pros and cons as well, considering how many Raptors are around. So it's hard to tell, to be honest. They're good questions. They're really good questions, by the way, even the ones we can't answer. And looking around, we seem to find both sides of arguments, fairly strong arguments for just two different ways of looking at whole heaps of different things around here. So thanks for the questions. They're awesome.
Yeah, we appreciate all the questions and all the generosity, and really our questions aren't answered until we actually catch them in the act doing something most of the time. So, and we'll see that here in a little bit. But yeah, this is what Crane Man was asking about earlier, all this dirt work along the side here. So it does look like that's where the pipes could have gone.
Yep. I agree.
And up top, we know they've been setting up to, I believe, have water delivered to the site as well as the other utilities. So
yeah, down near the entrance there, right at the edge of Massey's, there's a little white building. Just there was some water pipes. I've been waiting for ages to see where they went, but there was some water pipes coming out of the ground there from horizontal boring. So that's ready to hook into the mains. I'm still not sure the mains runs along Highway 4 yet for water. But they were right in front of it, right in between the gate and that white square, about where that piece of concrete on the ground is. They came out of the ground just there somewhere, yeah. Well, that's all tidied up now, so yes, that could have tied in with that as well, even. It may have been water supply or drainage. Or both.
yeah, and we saw a couple of months ago they took out the water treatment plant that was up in the right-hand corner near the static fire stand. So it does look like they are setting up to have all the utilities delivered as well as drainage, and just make it a proper test facility instead of a shooting range that they pop tanks in.
Some more questions, Joe?
Yeah, we got a couple more I'm going to take on Massey's before we move on. I got Liam Donald asking, how are they going to get the ships into the new structural stand? They'll need a lot bigger crane.
That is a great question, and I'm pretty sure we all wish we knew that answer yet, but that is a to be seen, I think, unless you guys have an answer that I haven't seen yet.
Well, if it's only another couple of sections high, I mean, like I said, it's never going to be they don't need to test a full ship in here. They've only got to test the structural elements of the ship. And even they may be able to test two structural elements stacked on each other here rather than just single pieces like they have in the past. Just because they still have the puck shucking for the actual final assembly testing still on the other cryo stands. So we'll definitely see barrel sections. We can imagine, if you imagine another 2 sections higher, say, than what it is right now, it's not going to require huge, and that'd be big enough for some of the bigger sections of the super heavy booster and the ship as well. So the ship's actually quite small compared to its sections are quite small compared to the sections of a booster. So perhaps to answer your question, perhaps the LR 11,000 at the launch site would be enough, even if it had to have its lifting jib extended, which I think is capable of getting quite a lot higher yet, the crane at the launch site, the white one. And there wouldn't be very heavy articles here, you wouldn't imagine. So I think they've got the equipment to put things into that stand already.
Yeah, I've speculated that the LR11K may end up here, even though I know a lot of people don't see that. We know this crane was used to transfer S-26 from the static fire stand to the regular transport stand before it was rolled back. But honestly, most things are going to get lifted on and off that stand, the static fire stand, using the bridge cranes in Mega Bay 2. So it depends on how many more levels this ends up, because this may end up being the last level. We don't know. We really haven't seen parts for a new level past this. So this may be the level. This may be the final level, and those attachment points up top may just be for the pistons or whatever connects the cap to those legs. But until we see more parts arrive, we don't know. And I know we didn't talk about this yet, but this thing, there's still a lot of speculation about what that's eventually going to end up being.
Remains to be seen.
We'll keep getting through the questions, Joe.
All right, Liam Donald is also asking, how often are they going to put ships into the structural test stand? Building it to this quality for only a couple of uses seems a bit extreme.
We can actually talk about that a little bit later when we get to the ring yard, because we have some updates on that. How often, we don't know, but there's definitely an update on the possibility of the next piece.
All right. Zach J. Murphy asking, do you think there will be a second flame trench and static fire testing stand added to Massey's?
We definitely think there's going to be multiple static fire stands. As far as the trench goes, that's one of those, if it does happen, I think it's going to be a couple of years before we see one, before they're going to need that kind of cadence.
Rainman stating the legs from the test stand are capped. They don't do that while building the stand, so I presume this is the max height.
Thank you, Crane Man. We always appreciate your knowledge.
Yeah, you can see.
I don't know that they are. You can see straight through that one on the right. Yeah, I'm not sure they are, Crane Man.
right.
I appreciate all your input. Because you can see straight through that one. Because, there's a hole in the side and there's a hole in the top. You can see straight through that one. Yeah, you can see straight through the top, through the other side, right up the top of it. Yeah, sorry, Kramer. We would say we appreciate all your input, but I think they aren't capped, that's all. And it has lead in.
And we know they've been filling it with concrete on each section. And it looks like this. Looks like these have been prepped for the concrete filling as well.
Yeah, they come with holes in the tops. That's right. They come from the factory like that.
Yeah, you can see the holes.
These ones to be kept. They'll have concrete in them. They'll look kept. Thank you, Joe.
And I want to thank Dave Avery for gifting 5 memberships. Much appreciated, good sir. The questions just keep pouring in. So Kyler Monaris is asking, is the test stand wider at the base, or is it a weird perspective due to the camera lens type?
Yeah, it's the lens.
I believe that's perspective. Yep.
We get heaps of those. We can see heaps of that around.
And the legs are built, and each section before the lift on are all built on the same area where the current legs are standing, and those are in-ground mat. What's the word I'm looking for?
Embeds.
Thank you. Embeds. Those are all embeds. So they start off on the exact same location. So they are all the same length apart.
Excellent. Rayman is stating the high test stand is capped.
Hang on. Stand by. Oh, hang on. Okay. I think I know what he means. Zoom into the far leg, I think would be easiest on the part. Yeah, that one. I think he means they're capped. Now, I'm pretty sure I can still see. Okay, it does look like a steel cap on top of some sort. But it still looks like they've got lead-ins, doesn't it? I see what you mean there, Crayman. Thank you. Appreciate it.
We might know more next week or the next 2 weeks. We'll know more.
But I'm only discussing with Crayman. I'm definitely not agreeing or disagreeing. I'm just saying, does it not look like they're lead-ins, though, there as well, ready for the... It does rise a bit, doesn't it? Yeah, this bottom one shows it does still come up a bit, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure, Kramer. It's a good question. But just going on the fact that they're building the next layer on the embeds up there, pretty sure that is going to be a layer to go up on top of here. So I'm not sure what exactly we're seeing there. For Kramer to say something like this, it must look different than previous when they did it on the previous level. So once again, good question, and we can only wait and see to answer your question. Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
Indeed. Yeah, that's about all we got for Massey's. It's about all the time we got for Massey's anyway. A couple of requests in chat to take a quick peek at the Rio West progress, or lack thereof.
Certainly. Have a quick look at them on the way past. Yeah, while Lawrence does that, I just want to say thank you again for everybody. Seabreeze, you guys are all just amazing, amazing family to all of us. So thank you guys for everything for Steph.
Agreed.
All right, so here's Rio West. We know this project has been placed on hold. However, it looks like they are finishing whatever infrastructure work they were contracted to do originally.
Yeah, it's probably important to just get that drainage working, even though development goes ahead, because that drainage is part of the longer it has water coming out, so the better it is. And that's a mechanical part of that whole system we saw get put in. So, correct. That's probably contracted to the original, what do we call them? Vertical wicks.
Yeah, the vertical wicks. Oh, look there, Todd. There's another L cover.
How did we not see that last night?
That's what I want to know.
Yeah, so we were looking at this last night. There are some changes. This section over here kind of had us questioning. Maybe we got some, experts in the chat that know we've got these sections with the L style caps, and we got one pipe going out at one angle or coming in, one pipe going in another with an access hole. Scratching our heads, we were looking for a second opening cover like that, but didn't see it. Now we see it. Yeah, other thoughts why they're continuing this is also this might be environmentally required. You've changed the way of the land, you've changed possibly the flow of the runoff. Now you need to capture it because it wasn't originally going that way. Now it needs to be dealt with in a way that you said it would be dealt with. Or it could just be that these guys already been paid, so they're going to finish their job.
Yeah, we see a ton of vaults have been placed, so it looks like most of the plumbing has already been put in, and they're just finalizing a lot of it. And we've seen mainly this material is left. And what do we got here, Todd?
They put those in since last night. They had to have put those in. I don't get, but yeah, I guess we were tired. That is so funny.
Yeah, it looks like we got some odd shapes too over here to go with these. So it looks like they're definitely finalizing a lot of this from the looks of it.
Next
All
time,
right,
don't
nice.
point it out, Darth. Just kidding. Okay, yeah, but that's about it here. Not too much more than that.
Now that's pretty much it. And the storage yard, not a lot there either. Give me just a sec here. So we do have a photo of it, so we see like the old crane counterweights that they brought in. Still have some of the newer counterweights or painted weights. Some of the plumbing and piping. And the one thing that we're unsure of is what have they been dumping here?
Yeah, it could be concrete or could be water. Yeah. Well, let's go on to the build site. Sanchez.
Yep, I'm ready for Sanchez.
Sanchez.
All right, so let's take a look.
The GC building's become a parking lot. Seems to be busy with cars this week.
Cars and other transportation vehicles.
Would you like your own hovercraft?
Oh, yeah.
Would you like it in red or white?
One of the thoughts that we had too, that this might just be where they move things for the storm, or they could be doing a lot of maintenance work right now because there's a lot of cars, hovercrafts, and other things that weren't normally parked here over here. But we'll see what happens with those too.
Yeah, we got some white I-beams sitting back here for something.
Well, being white, it's probably factory related, you think?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, either factory or in the bays. One of the two. What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Let us know. Let us know.
If we have any SpaceX employees in the chat, feel free to contact us. We promise we won't tell anything you tell us. We just want to know for just ourselves. Yeah, fingers crossed saying that.
Got the transport for TAS Section 1 there.
Soon to be joined by the second module. Have they lifted that yet?
It's last I saw it was being hooked up, and the counterweights were being added, but hasn't been moved yet. So this was Section 2 is still here, right? Because I get lost on which ones are moved to where.
Section 2 is the one that are hooking up to. So Section
Yes, but
3
at the time
is
of this
still
photo,
here. No, it was already
it was
moved.
there. Okay, yeah.
So what we have, we'll get to the rest of the sections in a minute. This is 8 and 9 sitting here.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I jumped ahead on you.
And that's fine. But just take a quick look over in this area real quick. Mystery, possible transport rig, probably a transport rig. They're working on it, but they're not in a hurry, whatever it is. They got the second one here, and we'll see the first one in a minute. Still got a lot of parts for stands and work platforms laying around.
And one of those long bars is missing. I think it's over in the scrapyard. One of those big, long, rusty bars.
Yeah, I believe I saw that. I was going to ask Jax last night, but didn't get a chance because of the conversation him and Ryan Hansen were having.
One's cut in half. That's new too. In the middle. I wonder what these are going to be. Unless it hasn't been joined yet.
Yeah, that's interesting because it looks like right there as well. Let me see if we got a better... There we go. Sorry, everybody watching, just trying not to get everything all distorted. But it looks like they're joining all the pieces together.
Yeah, they're definitely in the process of something there under that umbrella.
Yeah, there's one there, one there. Yeah, like we we're saying, this stand, it's just sitting there until they're ready to use it, I guess. Looks like they already have the rolling platform ready for whatever the next stand they decide to build is. Here's something that showed up this past week. It's a new 2-point lifter stand.
Which
When
leads
they
to
were...
the speculation where they think that they were possibly working on a third or fourth, I can't remember, 2-point ship lifter, possibly for inside the factory since it's painted white.
And we believe this is the bar, one of the bars for it, correct?
Yeah, the other one's under the tent, getting painted at the moment. I think there's a photo from that far side. You can see into one of those tents. Yeah, we're not sure. It could be a 2-point lifter. Off to the left there, I think. The second one, maybe. Does that show it? It's under the tent to the left of the other one. Right on the edge of the screen. It could be a lifter. The debates have been, once again, there's always more than one thought on these things. If it's not a lifter, it's... Oh, sorry, Lawrence, I can't quite see in this photo. It doesn't matter, anyway. And once again, if it's not a lifter, we're not sure what else it could possibly be. But it sort of doesn't exactly look like a lifter either, in a way. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see again.
And it's...
I get comments sometimes saying I say speculate too much, we don't know too much. Well, sometimes we just don't know.
Well, it is interesting, though, that I believe this was actually one of the angled bars right here. Looks like it's been flipped 90 degrees. And it just happens to be right next to the new 2-point lifter stand. As I believe when they rolled segment 4, module 4 for the tower in, I saw them actually working and welding all the additions onto that stand over here someplace.
That is
So,
interesting. That's interesting. That stands there. Wasn't that stand laying down near the tower sections earlier on?
yeah, I believe it was actually over here when they rolled segment 1 out. So, let's see here. I believe last week we saw it laying in here,
Yeah, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's correct.
or actually right here, because it showed up this week, which is segment 4 or module 4 of the Pad B tower. And which shot has it? No, that's not it. Thanks for bearing with me here, everybody.
Well, he's taking a look at that picture. We do know that Section 5 did roll last night from the port to here. So, although we don't show it, there is all the different modules are now on Starbase property, and they're just continuing to build.
I just wanted to let Darth know that Seabreeze says Darth Zoom is doing great with the screen and mouse transitions. Nice, smooth transitions. So good job.
I appreciate that, Seabreeze.
So yeah, tower section 4 came quite nicely fitted out with all its basket strainer filters and everything. And section 3 there in front of you has its cryopipes has already been installed. So they're really moving forward here with section 2 already at the tower, already at the launch site. Section 3 looking almost ready to roll out as well. So by the time they stack section 4 in the next couple of days, we should see section 3 roll out already. And section 4, it looks ready to go as well. So that's going to happen very quickly, as is section 5. So I expect to see some work on section 6 over the back, and then they'll be up onto the top of the tower. So it's supposedly going to happen by mid-August. And the way they're working on it this time around, that is quite believable, I think.
Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely believable. And if Elon had given a time frame before August, I probably would have believed him at this point, because they are moving on this. I'm sure things are going to slow down once they get a little taller, but it's going up way faster than I thought it was.
Another quick thing I noticed there, just in that part, you can see down near the test stand, down near the stand assembly area, just before you leave that stand assembly area, there's one of the ship engine install stand platforms under your hand out of 4. So 3 of them have gone into the high bay, into Mega Bay 2, onto the ship install stand, probably where ship 31 is now. Yeah, there was 4 of those at Sanchez last week. Now there's only 1 here. There's 2 missing from the itinerary tent as well.
Yeah, and it looks like they were also repositioning the ones in the middle stand that they had 26 and ship 30 on, where they originally had installed these type of platforms. And we'll get to that here in a second. I just wanted to get over here and give a good shot of segment 4 where we
With
can
the
see
flag.
with the flag saying it's all done. Here's your 4th of July delivery. And we see all the cryo plumbing here for the SQD arm, the baskets, some valves, actuators. They really kitted this one out before they shipped it.
Yeah, I'd
So,
seen the pictures at the yard there in Florida where they were still working on it. But when we've got the first drone pictures after they loaded them up and we were able to see clearly, I was quite shocked how outfitted this was, and definitely impressed and excited to see it like that because again, that goes to that fast stacking ability.
yeah, definitely. The fact that they pretty much sit 4 and 5 ready to stack, they were planning on getting this done quickly. You see the cable chain, drag chain shielding's already on it, and
They did well. They had 2 crews working. That allowed them to have 2 crews working on the tower sections here and those tower sections over at Kennedy, I guess, and made things come along a lot quicker. Oh,
Which is definitely
is that the hinge assembly we can see on this side too? Is it?
yeah.
Sweet.
Yep. Yeah, I was in a way glad to see him working because it puts more workers in Florida work because they were really busy there for a while, a lot of workers, and then they slowed down. But at least some of them stayed busy for a while, which is always good for the local unions and workers. Like to see that.
Yeah, definitely that they're keeping everybody busy, and Roberts Road is going to be a tower factory in the future where we'll just start seeing towers popping up.
Let's go over and have a look at the Starlink base over on the edges. Sanchez has it. There was some earthworks last week. It seems to be tidying up. Not sure what they're doing there, but yeah, it seems to be all tidying up, getting rid of some more concrete again.
Yeah, I think a lot of it still has to do with drainage and other commodities that they've been putting in around. The one big thing, or besides the towers, obviously we had these 2 tanks delivered. I believe they were there before the last flyover. But the other thing we saw is, which picture is it? We saw them finally pouring concrete into the generator building. Can you see it here?
Yep. Yeah, they poured a floor. I guess the first story flooring. I guess that looks like that's not just going to be. Is that the roof or is that another concrete slab going to go on top, do we think?
I believe that's the roof. How about you, Todd?
Yeah, I think it's the roof too. So hard to tell with them with how they just keep going on things, but I think it's the roof.
And you can see the stairwell there to get up to this level.
Yeah, and we don't have one going any higher.
Sweet. Roof it is. A scrapyard. What's going on in the scrapyard? That's the test article from High Bay Mega Bay 2, is it? The 6? Is that 6?
That is the 6-barrel or 6-ring barrel right there.
So this is testing we believe it's testing the welding robots in Mega Bay 2.
Yeah, and we have some developments going on over there when we get over there. So,
And is that one of those long, rusty steel square sections to your left, or is that one of them?
I believe it is, and I didn't know if this was one that was moved from over there, that we think we saw over there. I think it might have been, because we
Nice.
know.
Maybe it's just being staged there, because I mean those lids, I don't think they're going to get scrapped.
Yeah.
So it might just be staged there, ready to go somewhere else.
Yeah, it's funny. They still have an extra turntable here.
Yeah, I believe that'll go into Mega Bay 2 sooner or later. I think there's a reason for it not being in there right now, but I'm pretty sure it'll end up being in there.
Yeah, it looks like they're finally clearing stuff out from around it. So it wouldn't surprise me to see that get moved soon, because they did have this. There was no way it was going to be moving before. It was just packed with everything around it. So it looks like they are finally clearing it up. The hot stage test articles. Got another ring here. Another ring there with scaffolding on the inside.
Yeah, they're the hot stage ring test articles, some of that. Booster 4.
You want to know how much it rained? Just look inside Booster 4's aft section.
Oh, it's becoming a swimming pool. Cool.
And then you have all the rings. And there's the original 2-point lifter stand. Oh, look what this is.
So
B12s.
unusually, that came in past the Mega Bays, down past High Bay, up the highway, past High Bay, past the Mega Bays, then between Mega Bay 2 and 1, and came around that way rather than going through the rest of Sanchez.
That's correct. And yeah, they've been doing so much work. I'll try and get a good view of it, but it looks like they've been working on Remedios some more.
And they rolled ship 31 through there as well the other day and brought it out here, then took it back into Mega Bay 2. They used the pathway between Mega Bay 1 and 2 rather than going right around the highway like they used to do.
That's correct. And they had Ship 31 sitting right here. This is the old engine install stand location. Yeah. And now they just park the cryo stand, ship cryo stand on it.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that doesn't need bolting down. Maybe because of the storm, but it really doesn't need bolting down, as far as I know.
No, I think it's just because it has the embeds, so the weight factor, they know they can set it down and not worry about concrete crumbling under it.
That's a good point.
Because they're worried about breaking concrete. Come on now. No, I'm just kidding.
They got other concrete needs right now, not there.
Yeah, definitely.
Slappy, also known as the 14.1 test article. And this is what I like to call Scrap Row.
The Three Amigos.
S26, S32, and the original photo op S20.
Hang on. What was that hanging out in the fire building over there?
That's what I was just going to say. We got some interesting updates. I don't think we had a confirmed answer, but there's definitely some movement going on there. We got some hoses that coming off the side of the building there seem to run out. There's a lot of speculation on whether it's testing, priming, cleaning the lines out. But yeah, qualifications for the fire system. But yeah, that was kind of interesting to see.
So back on the shed, they start at a plate on the actual building. Would that be like where a fire truck could plug in their hoses, like some kind of standard outlet?
Yeah, like a manifold or pump on the side of the building.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, they do
Yeah.
periodically flush those systems out, as far as I know.
Yep, and they do have to qualify it. And I know there's a lot of bigger buildings that have a certain, the distribution area where they can hook up to qualify it and make sure the pressures are right, make sure the water's right. So it could be multi-usage point for what they're doing. We saw that and was definitely scratching our heads. We have multiple speculations on that one.
Just dump it on the road, huh?
Yeah, it appears they wanted to go away from the wetlands with that, not just open it up and let it go. They were probably, since it's not technically runoff, I don't think they're supposed to go in that direction.
What else is to cover on the Sanchez? Do we want to take a few questions, Joe?
Sure thing. But I first want to thank Callistia Lee for gifting another 5 memberships. Crane Man stating those square brown pipes at the umbrellas look to be jigs to assemble or weld long pipes. And the pipe that's being assembled and welded appears to be reflecting in the sun on some pictures.
That's a very, very good possibility.
Is that the same piece that's opening the scrapyard that's being staged? That could be correct, actually. I mean, it's not the only. Obviously, once again, Kramer, I really respect everything, all of your input. Obviously, there's many possibilities, but that's a very good possibility. Thank you. And it may even have, I think what he's saying is it may have tabs to actually hold sort of sections so that they can weld them.
I've kind of been speculating that these are new raceway jigs.
So it could be raceway jigs, or one of the other things that as he says this, I was thinking that maybe overhead pipes, water, air, commodities, but with these certain cutouts in certain places for brackets to be added, because the same spacing in between all the different sections, like every 12 feet, they're going to need a bracket. But instead of measuring it, they put it in here. They put the brackets on where there's special cutouts, where there's holes, a jig for getting these done faster. Just something that came on the top of my head. I could be totally wrong. It wouldn't be my first time.
It's a very good question, Crane Man.
Yeah, that would make sense too, Todd, because I have a feeling these are going to end up getting painted white at some point. Just because of the area they're being made in, and they probably will be. Almost everything over here is Star Factory or Mega Bay related in this area.
All right, thank you, Joe.
Indeed. Liam Donald asking, what do we think the chances are they're building a new OLM in the ground fab building? Has there been any sight of a new OLM other than the one in Florida?
Well, there's a major speculation there is obviously it's going to be completely different, and which would make the one in Florida completely obsolete. And we're looking at the new launch site is sort of such a mystery, it's hard to say. Personally, I think it'll come in modules and probably even go straight to the launch site. It's going to be a lot different to the one at the launch site currently. So is all we know about it so far. And otherwise, no, we haven't seen any sign of anything except the ones at Florida.
Yeah, I still think it's going to be shipped from Hangar M, because they moved the one that is apparently going to be scrapped out months ago.
It was getting built here. It was getting built here. I think we would have seen sections rolling in past the cameras that operate 24/7.
Yeah, we would have seen the parts. So I think they're doing it. I think it's going to be shipped from Florida. That's my honest belief, because that would. I think Hangar M gives them the most privacy, the most secure location to do a new design, and not have prying eyes all over it.
Yeah, I agree with there. But one of the I know some of us all know the feeling when you get something right that no one else did. There's that really great feeling. So I'm going to say this out loud, even though I'm 99.99% sure I'm wrong. I think one day they're going to pull that back panel off of the inventory building and start pulling out sections one at a time and slap the whole thing together. That whole place right there right now is just used for fabrication of the OLM ring. Totally wrong, but just in case they do.
Well, they hid the deluge plates in there for a long time, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly. And when that came out, I mean, I know we had seen some pictures from the front side, but now that we can't go down Remedios, I don't know if we've had much pictures in there since then. So, just gonna throw that out there just in case I can say I told you. But as usual,
Yep.
I'm sure I'm wrong.
But unlike the deluge plate, you couldn't get it out this way now. It would definitely have to come out from this side.
Yeah, I know. I just thought that would be funny.
Oh no, that would be. It would be funny if we just start seeing seeing this end come off, and all of a sudden, bam, something long or round starts rolling out of the inventory tent.
Thank you, Joe.
That would be funny speculation there, Todd. All right. Crane Man, is that short white beam the cross beam of the new 2-point lifter?
We saw a white beam there. We saw two beams. There was one painted white, then there was a black one behind it. We don't know. We're really not sure at all. To answer
Yeah,
that question.
definitely a speculation, but we don't know for sure yet.
There was one in the shadows there. I'm not sure whether it's still there or not. Right up against, there's something there. I'm not sure. One of them is.
Yeah, this one we believe is one of those beams that are angled, but it has now been turned 90 degrees. So the angled part is actually facing the camera instead of being perpendicular to it. And the fact that you have the 2-point lifting stand here now, it's just, I think it's more than coincidence with these parts being worked on.
All right, I'll take one more question for Sanchez here from Seabreeze. And I do believe this is regarding that FAA document on the crane height tower done by mid-August. Is that stacking only completed or stacked and all piping connections made as well?
Yeah, just stacking. The plumbing, there's a lot to do after that. There's plumbing to be joined. There's all the sections to be welded. There's all the tracks to be welded. There's quite a lot. They just want to get the stacking done and get the crane out of there.
Yeah, the crane's not going to leave until January, but they do need to get it below the 566 feet height limit that they've said they'll be done by the middle of August with. So,
Oh, that's right. The crane stays. That's right. I forgot about that bit.
so that's when they're planning on giving the crane its shortest configuration. But yeah, to that point, it'll just be stacking because there are a ton of pipes over here that still will probably be used to join all the segments. We know they're getting close with how they've done the install of the piping. When my mouse decides to cooperate. But with all the plumbing, there's still a lot of plumbing to do between each segment. So there's basically 3 main cryo commodities, plus you have all these commodities back here. All these smaller ones for argon, gaseous nitrogen, the hydraulics, the conduit, all that. So it's just going to be getting the tower stacked by mid-August. And we'll talk more about that when we get over to the launch site.
All right. That's all
Agreed.
the questions I've got. I do have a statement from Kal-El. A 6-story parking garage looks small compared to the rest of the buildings in that area. Ridiculous. And we can move on.
that was another topic too last night. I know we've said it a million times, but pictures do no justice for the size of things there, and I'll just leave it at that, and we can keep moving on. It's just insane.
I do
Yeah,
see car parking marks, though, which is good.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up, is we did finally getting all the painted stalls and crosswalks.
All right, build site. I'm going to do some Beetlejuice on you.
Yeah, there's nothing at the build site we want to talk about.
No, nothing the ring watchers are interested in. Nothing. Let's carry on. Let's just go to the building.
We'll just go to the village.
Awesome updates and new things popping up last night. We caught this and didn't realize what we caught, or what Mauricio caught. Not we. I wish I was up there with him. But inside the Mega Bay, we see this new Quint section with a dome that came out later that night. I don't think anyone was expecting that. Well, I mean, we could tell from here what we got going, but that it was a test article, I don't think they knew. But that sure lit up the ring watchers. And then not long after that, we saw even some more. So last night was really exciting for them. I was glad to see this stuff come out.
Yeah, this is the high bay where this is located.
High bay.
But it looks like everything. Did everything go into Mega Bay 2 this morning or overnight?
Yes, overnight, this and then the new shipped aft section that had came out of the factory went into Mega Bay 2 and was stacked and put onto a turntable. So looks to be getting prepared there for what we assume is testing. Hopefully the new first test article to go into the new test ring. We shall see. But yeah, that was some really awesome, interesting updates.
Did we even talk about this last night?
That's Booster 15's methane tank.
Yeah, no, I don't believe so.
What?
Okay, so we're already having the methane tank section starting to roll out. That's good. Stephanie, they're still working on your drainage.
Yeah, it'll be done soon enough. So I hear chat about a test article, and I hear chat about a new version, Ship 2 parts making their way through the alleyway here.
Yeah, that was also. Go ahead, Lawrence.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's what we were talking about, is we have all these test parts that have started coming out, and we saw this morning the ship payload bay.
So not an actual ship, you reckon? Just test articles.
Well, no, the ship section that came out with the payload bay door was fully tiled. Now, I wouldn't put it past SpaceX to test a tiled, section as a part of a test article, but that is possibly believed to be a version 2 ship payload section.
And it had plumbing on the inside as well. That's what I saw as well. You could see through the payload bay door. Yeah. Very good. Carry on.
Yeah, the aft section that we caught in high bay and the Quint that came out, that appears to be the test. The aft section had a steel ring on top with the 3 hookup points to be probably connected to the top of the can crusher in the new test article, possibly.
Thanks for clarifying that. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
so that's
no
exciting.
problem.
That's really exciting news. The version 2 ship under construction. So there's a race on now for ship 32. That if a version 2 ship gets built before 32 flies, well, that'll make ship 32 completely obsolete, obviously.
Yeah, we've kind of speculated that S-32 wasn't going to fly anyways. So we'll see what happens. I've always had a feeling that that 32 was the break glass in case of emergency ship, Like something
Well,
really went wrong with S31 or S30.
the additions they've made to S31, S30 and S31 already are making ship 32 kind of obsolete as it is.
Yeah, we were talking with Jax last night, and Ship 32 would take months of updates from everything they've done to 31 to get it up to what 31 is currently now. So that's just, I think it's like Lawrence said, break in case emergency break glass, and I think it's too far back now that I don't believe it's going to fly myself.
Yeah, and so it looks like they may have been repositioning these stands overnight.
So that would allow them to turn the ship around and put it on the other way around so the tiles face the platforms at the back of the mega bay there so they can use it for tiling.
Yep, absolutely, Steph. That's what we were talking about too last night. That's looks like possibly the reason for doing that.
Give me
They
a
can have
sec.
two teams working on it.
So it's all looking really nice. The concrete around the front of Mega Bay 2 there, everything's looking nice and smick. All the platforms look concreted and all the equipment's been removed from them. There was heaps of scissor lifts and so on there. They all seem to have been cleared off mostly.
Yeah, and this is why I wanted to show this was you can see S31, if my mouse would cooperate, you can see Ship 31 up over here on this work stand. Just barely peeking out. But this one,
it has its tiles towards us.
Yeah.
Ship, yeah.
Yeah, it has it towards us. It looks like they were still working in this corner. Todd, do you know which stand they had moved those new ones into? The new platforms?
Well,
I
you would
believe
expect
the right far corner. I think.
I was going to say you'd expect them to go under the ship, understand ship 30s, ship 31's on.
I could definitely be wrong. I was trying to just catch up on what they were for the most part, and I do know they were stacked. But I'll see if I can do some searching real quick, and maybe someone knows in chat.
Yeah, not the test article, but the work platforms. See what we could, which of the stands they had ended up in.
Yeah, no, I do not know which one that ended up in. Sorry.
Yeah, we think it's there, but with them still working on this area for this stand, they may have just put it there while they finish this stand too. Because you'd think, yeah, they could do a quick and dirty engine install on this stand, but do they want to rush just putting in the engines, send it to Massey's, bring it back, and wait for Flight 5 to see what kind of work they need to do on the heat shield? But with rearranging these, that would allow them to have access to the majority of the heat shield on ships in the future.
So it's looking like they're going to be able to handle quite a lot more ships in production very soon as they're moving forward with these bays. The bays are looking like a factory themselves.
Yeah, both mega bays are being more like a true aerospace instead of just some tents thrown up on a sandbar near the Gulf.
So still at rear flaps over there near the bakery.
They do, and we got a.
Well, there's some tiles. What are the tiles on? Yeah, in that box. Hey, right there.
Very good question.
Is that an arrow cover, perhaps?
Very possible.
Yeah.
So
And
we know
go on.
they pretty much finished up the roofing on the factory. Where's that good shot? There it is.
It just looks very dirty. It looks finished, but they're very dirty and odd coloured.
Yeah, as I was saying last night, you can now see the streaks of from the sloping of the roof, where it's when the rains came, all the dirt that had collected on top. You can see which direction it ran.
All right, while you're there, let's look back there. There's is that ship forward flap still over there? It is, isn't it? On the right.
Right there.
Yeah.
Oh, they've moved it over there. They love moving
Yeah,
that thing
moved
around
it.
and never using it.
Yep. We got that new ship forward flap there.
Nothing changed on that heat exchange thing.
Yeah,
Nope, they're
nothing
still working
there.
on that. No new concrete, except for maybe that there.
And they're finally finishing the drainage over here. Very good.
Your wall,
Yeah.
Stephanie. Your wall.
Nice.
So that's looking good. Actually, before I leave this,
Scary rabbit
happy
dome.
buddy yeah.
Now, what's next to Scary Bunny Dome? Just to the right of it.
Looks
They're
like some
payload.
pipes.
No, payload bay doors in the next bay, right there.
Yes, that is what we noticed last night too.
Let me pull up. We actually have a much better shot of that.
Yeah, that one. Now they're older model ones. I did hear a little bit. I did hear a little tiny bit here and there of show and tell, and they're saying there's an angle part on it that makes them appear to be old model ones rather than version 2, like old, like Ship 24 old.
Yeah, the Ship 2425 model, and I think it's because of this part right here. All the corners, they have the angles. I believe on the new ones.
So this is the new scrapyard back here, not a ring yard at all.
It's
Very
the
good.
scrap. Where was that one? Scrap. Plus whatever they're storing, see more of the sheets that it looks like they used for the press. Possibly.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they like development articles as well being out here like that. And now they're in this sort of scrapyard area. That's interesting.
And you still got your load spreader for whatever they're carrying rigs.
Just while on that photo, can we see where those black pipes come out that go through the heat exchange? Didn't they come out near that? It's supposed to come out somewhere near those bolts. Did we ever see the other end of them, where they had them, where they pulled them through? They might even be further up higher. Be interesting to see where they actually go to see what they're going to cool. Whether it's some electrical equipment or computer equipment.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see. Kind of give us an idea of what's going in what area of the building.
No, they've already finished this end of it somewhere. Very good. They're fast. Thanks, Terence.
Yeah.
And this was the thing. Yeah, they have all these footings here still. So they're planning on building something, either more factory or stuff.
Yeah, stuff is about the best thing anyone's come up with right now. We did have that, yeah, right there. We got some definitely questions right there. We even had Phil, our local engineer, looking at it, and this is questioning us all. They excavated some area right here, as we remember back in the past. It's just close to those sections of the dog bone areas. You can actually see them exposed, I believe, there. But yeah, more stuff. That's about the best we came up with last night.
Swimming pool.
Oh, that's Bruce
Yeah.
before.
Straight
was-
up the deck.
Yeah, I was theorizing that these could end up being like reflection pools. Just
You mean
aesthetic.
mosquito breeding ponds?
Yes.
So there's some
yes.
more. There's
Right.
some, and there's some more puddings right there before you move, just to the bottom right of the photo.
Yes. Yep, that new one there.
Well, that doesn't make it any less confusing, does it?
Nope,
Not at all.
Not at all.
Because you still got this thing.
Yeah, no, they'll end up getting that, I reckon. Whether they pay for it or win the court, looks fairly assured that they know they're going to get that.
Yeah, they're not giving up on it. That's definitely.
It's going to end up costing them more in lawyer fees than it will just they could have made on it, but I don't know.
Forbes.
You're not talking big lawyer conspiracy theories there, are you, Todd?
Yeah,
So,
not yet.
we've got a crane disassembled.
We're getting a crane disassembled.
Yeah, so
And
it looks like they're done with this one. This is not just reconfiguring. This is disassembling.
Yeah, they're pretty much done with that. And I expect the other yellow crane to be going soon, too.
there's a wall. I can see a wall.
Yes,
on the-
yes. Forgot
underneath
about
the
that.
crane.
Right there.
Yep, they officially started working on the interior other than just the floors for what we can see. Yep, we do have a wall up, and they're on the move.
Give me a
Good
second
stuff.
here, because we actually had a
Yeah, that
better
looks
shot here.
Looks like all the concrete's been poured too.
Yeah, it looks like they got all the floors done.
Yep.
Still waiting for the roof to be completed, either insulated or concreted, whatever they decide to do. There's the wall, and you can see all the building. And I've seen this before on buildings where you have your temporary fences and gates
Yep.
while they're putting in the actual structure. Interior.
Got to keep
structure.
OSHA happy.
Yeah, this will be finished very soon also. They're really flying along.
Flying along, getting close to finish, and we're still scratching our heads on parts of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, a lot of it's finally coming together, like that circular piece, that big foyer entrance there.
Yeah, you see all the concrete there, so still a big open space. That's probably one of the main entrances, in my opinion.
It's going to look very spectacular walking in there.
And it'll flow. And I'm still thinking if this is a data center, this is where Stargate is going to end up. That's my speculation on this building, especially with it being not as connected to the rest of the building. Like, it looks like they'll still have at least one level where the two connect. But I think, for the most part, this is where Stargate is going to go. And when I was looking at all the property things, the property titles and deeds back a while ago, I think I saw that University of Texas owned part of the land over here.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because
Yeah, that is.
I think if you look it up, I think they actually owned part of this. So it may have just been the maps were off or the markers were off, but it kind of threw me that you saw everything else SpaceX owned in the area, and then there was some, like I think I was looking up that, and that was obviously whoever owns that, and then there were just some random University of Texas lots, and I'm like, huh? So it wouldn't surprise me if there's a SpaceX did a land swap for where Stargate currently is for this extension, so they can, have that room where Stargate is. It'll be a fun time to the next year to see what more changes are brought to Starbase.
Okay, on the build side, we've just about wrapped up build side. Have we got any questions and donations there? Thanks, Joe.
Definitely want to thank Leroy Hibbs for a heart super sticker for 20 pounds. And Just Martin, a super sticker for 10 pounds as well. Anthony Monahan with a €5.99 super chat. What is the engineering explanation for the exoskeleton look of the megabays, or is it just aesthetics?
I believe Billy answered this a while ago, that it gives you a lot more interior room by having the structural section on the outside. Maybe it could be just for looks too, but I'm almost positive that's what he told us a while ago, but it has been a while. But in my mind, yes, it leaves a lot more open area inside.
Yeah, correct, Todd. And it's not aesthetic.
Yeah, it's structural, but it gives you the full, as much volume as possible within the base.
And Kyle has just said, gotcha, thanks.
All right, and I want to thank Ironclad for a $49.99 super sticker. Much appreciated for that support as well. Liam Donald with a question. Long term, do you think they'll build a new lot longer megabay to make it more of a production line?
Yeah, that was discussed in a way last night. I don't know if they'll do it here, but what they're learning from this area to go on to Florida, there's a good possibility that in the part of the new factory, when they start building out there, is that the high ends of the structures will be mega bay height, but yet will encompass the entire length. I don't know if they'll do that here, though. They're running out of room, but it's definitely a possibility in Florida.
Yeah, where they could actually come straight. So instead of like here, they have an angle with a high door for a larger, like, nose cone sections to come out of the high hall of the factory and go into Mega Bay 2. They could just, at Roberts Road, they could theoretically just build the high halls, like one on each end, one for ship, one for booster, roll the parts, the segments straight into the bay, stack them, roll out a completed booster or ship.
Come on, Todd. Can't you see them extending Mega Bay 2 straight down the alley all the way to the highway down here?
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
I jest.
Hey, Steph, if they do it, you can say, I told you so. So I'll remember this one for you.
Cool.
Okay, here's a thought. What if this becomes a new Mega Bay?
Yeah, nah.
Thank
you, Joe.
Just out of my mouth, Steph. But hey, there you go, Lawrence. If you get it right, I told you. You told us so.
All right. Kal-El asks, why do you think they don't use the caps for the booster? Is it just that they made changes to the top of the booster so much that they have to change or remake the caps? What do you think?
Actually, we have a good picture showing that. We'll get to that here in a minute. Real
I
quick,
don't think. Go ahead. I don't think we can answer that question. That again was another thing we talked about last night. We are not sure why. We expected that. As far as we know, other than pushers, they're the same design. They should fit, but they decided not to use it for whatever reason.
yeah, and that's what I was just gonna say is we know they have these pushers for the hot stage rig now, but for some reason they may or may not be wanting to use them with the pushers up. And we'll get better photos of it later. But let's finish the build site so we can get over there.
I wonder
Yeah,
if
don't
the
be
caps
too much.
aren't heavy
Go
enough
ahead.
to push the pushers down. Maybe it takes the weight of an actual hot stage ring to actually push the pushers down, perhaps.
That's a very good possibility, Steph.
Maybe they need to drill holes in the caps or something to, like you said, modify them.
Yeah, very possible.
Iterations always has this sort of side effect that things like that happen. Thank you, Joe.
Indeed. And we are running a little bit overtime here today. I know that our producer, Emlyn, is okay for a little bit of overtime, but we definitely need to let Stephanie get some rest. But
Yeah.
final question over here from Kal-El. On the roof of the new office building, they have set up a false front on top of the roof. Is that going to negate the ability to watch launches from there?
I don't think on the roof there's going to be launches. It's a facade, yeah. Not necessarily. I mean, you can maybe see from behind it. I don't know there was ever going to be a viewing deck for launches. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they wouldn't be able to see it possibly, depending on, okay, it's hard to tell how tall that is. They wouldn't be able to see it on the actual stand, but it wouldn't take long after liftoff before they'll be able to watch it.
Good point about moving on. Let's go on to the launch site. Now, thanks, Joe. Is that all the questions?
We're good.
Awesome.
All right, so we see they were in the middle of testing B-12 yesterday during the flyover.
Just on that last question, the office building may be within the exclusion zone as well, as far as watching a launch. But thank you, Lawrence.
So we definitely got the
Have you contacted him? Oh, I see. Gotcha. Network just went back in a sec. Thanks for keeping.
All right. Looks like we might be coming back up.
Thank you. We're back. Okay, back to the plumbing there. Lawrence?
this was CH4 vents on. Now you still see the excavator sitting in looks like a puddle of water
Yeah, and
amongst
it's
the
same one.
concrete.
Hang
Same
on,
one as last time.
I think we're out again. Just give Emma a second here. Like I said once again, YouTube's back on again. Thank you for your patience here. Okay, maybe bits. Okay, we're on. We're back on again. Away you go, Lawrence.
All right. Thank you all for your patience while we're experiencing technical difficulties. So excavator breaking this thing up, hasn't moved in quite a while.
Yeah, it's been there for at least a week, and I'm not even sure if that wall has changed that it's been working on since then. It's very close to what it was last week.
Yeah, it looks like when they stopped everything from barrel from coming through. They just left it. Everything was just like, okay, stop. Clean up, let's go. So they may have been waiting for this to dry out, and they'll get back to it once testing has completed. You can see they still got the plumbing in this one, plumbing there, some plumbing still in this one. So they're slowly but surely getting to everything. One of the cool things from this testing is we saw this line here going through that goes from, or that goes to and from all the, you can see here under.
Oh, yeah.
Was frosty.
Yep. We're saying it's a return line, were we? There was a return line up high as well, I think.
Yeah, we believe it's the return line, and it does make a T. Give me just a second here.
Now the big tanks are going, we get a bit of a look at some of this plumbing we haven't seen for quite a while, if at all.
It'll be interesting to see how long all this stays as well. Like, it looks like they were being careful in the beginning when they were removing everything. Oh, look, we still got some ring there.
We may see in between, between flight 5 and 6, we may see some of this plumbing replumbed around the outside and open up that whole area too, yep. So they can do something with that whole area as a whole rather than having the plumbing running between all over the place.
Exactly, because right here's that T I was talking about, and you can see how it goes off and up, and then this goes under to where all the pumps are. But then it also comes back here between these bases, back here down into the vault. And it looks like this was frosty as well. And we have this running, and you can pretty much follow it over to here.
Nice one, yep. So just on the chat, Santi, this could be for this open area now, the Lego block. Could be for vaporizers, like I said, but could also be for more tanks. I think reading through chats, we believe they're short on nitrogen and methane. So we expect to see some methane expansion and possibly in this area because it'd be quite easy to put a wall up around the methane tanks in this little area, and possibly some more nitrogen over near the near the new horizontal tanks.
Yeah, those two tanks at Sanchez may be coming over here. That's one speculation. So it'll be interesting to see.
But also those 3 water tanks there you just went past, to get rid of those water tanks, they need some more vaporizers. So they do need room for vaporizers. So I think we may expect even both.
Which is kind of funny because it looks like they're trying to get away from vaporizers. I mean, yes, they do have all the ones down here on the end, but at the same time, and in between the tanks too.
RGV photography is saying, super sorry, all our area's power just died entirely. Working on stuff, but it should be back on now. Apologies, Emlyn. So Emlyn had a whole power failure in his area.
Ooh.
Well done for getting things back online. Very good. So yes, like we said in our last week's video update, there's not a lot going on with the horizontal tank farm, and this week not a lot going on with the old vertical farm. Now all the tanks are gone, They've cleaned up the scrap there along Highway 4 by the look of it. And have they moved any of those transformers over on the left-hand side in front of the bunker? That area is much the same. A little bit of work going on there, but it doesn't seem to change from last week either.
Looks like they're actually putting guard over them now.
That one will be moved, probably over that hole and then squared up and then the cover put over it. Yeah, we've already seen those covers go on for the acoustic energy, yeah.
Yeah, especially over here. Under this one, this is a cover right here where all the valves and we believe the drain back assembly is. All those valves and pipes for detaking the vehicles are located under there. So we know they're not afraid to put covers over things.
Just zoom back in where you were there for a second, next to the old LOX tank, next to the old vertical tank. You see that tank stands in there. Crayman's just reminded me that on the right hand, there. Crayman's just reminded me that that's to reconfigure the plumbing in the Lego block to bring it all around the outside here.
Yeah, that's what we've been speculating, is most of it would definitely be getting reconfigured. Once all this is cleaned up, they'll have access to come in here and reconfigure it the way they really want to, instead of just piecemealing everything as they've gone.
I agree. Let's go have a look at the.
Hey guys, I just wanted to jump in real quick here. I just wanted to mention those stands. I believe those have been there for a long time. That's what the old lines were on top of. They had a couple of, I think, pressure lines up there. So those aren't actually new. They probably just haven't removed them yet. They may not use them actually.
Hey, the voice of reason. G'day.
Welcome and thank you. Appreciate that, man.
Thank you very much. All right, we ready to go over here and just get this done?
Perfect. So we can see Tower 1 stacked with the harness is not on. It's hooked up to section 2 now, the load spreaders.
Yeah, they did this Thursday or Friday morning. They did the stack. They've now removed that and attached it to this module.
Yeah, counterweights were added. So I expect a lift within the day, possibly.
They've been using the LR11K to actually adjust the counterweights, which is kind of funny if you think about they're using their big crane to adjust weights on an even bigger crane. They're still tearing out the pad A area.
Yeah, it's starting to look quite flat in that area.
Yeah, it looks like they're cleaning things up. Gotta get one thing that we've been speculating about is along the highway here. I'm gonna get the wide shot here so we can see they've been cleaning this area out. So we've kind of speculated that since they're adding the tanks here, we still expect one more LOX tank to come over here, that they may be taking this entrance and moving it to this area, so they have a
Yeah.
straight shot.
Definitely makes sense, because even back in October when there was no tanks there, that was a sharp turn coming out of that old entrance exit. Make is actually a level that is a couple feet above the road level, so we expect to see quite a bit taken out there to make a transition up towards the pad. But I definitely think that's going to be the new place where they're going to be bringing in ships and boosters for the second area.
Yeah, and it definitely makes sense to have a much straighter area to be able to come through. And then from here, they can either turn left or right, either pad A or pad B. Plus, once this is operational, they're going to need a way to get equipment in and out for whatever work they're doing on pad A.
And it appears they'll be able to just leave Hoppy where she sets.
And the one thing that was pointed out is Hoppy is one of the lowest areas you can actually see. Hoppy is actually set down in the ground. You can see stairs that go around.
That's so people can sit around a campfire and praise Hoppy.
Praise Hoppy, roast some marshmallows.
What's going on in that white square?
That's what we want to know.
Yeah, only SpaceX knows. Where that's such a confusing area. They've exposed some of the piles. Not sure if how many more down there, but they've exposed quite a few of them. So hopefully we'll start to see something going on real soon here. Or some more foundation work to give us a clue as to what they're doing.
So far it's going to be a bit exposing the piles like this. It appears to be cut out, ready for formwork around the outside and a pile cap. So just a flat pile cap for now. And what they put on top of that pile cap. So it would be reasonably heavy, I guess, what's going on the pile cap. There's quite a few piles there.
Yeah, and if anybody has any idea what these frames are going to be for, please let us know.
I wonder are they corner sections for the formwork, perhaps, or maybe some kind of weird end beds.
True, because we've seen all the steel lying around here, along with formwork. So
yeah,
it could.
That is. That's the same steel, same colour, same age, same rust.
So it'll be very interesting to see. Maybe
It may end up being a tall. The pile cap may end up being like tall. It might be a few feet or a few meters even thick. Yeah.
What if this is where the new, what if they decide to put a second fluids bunker in?
That has definitely.
Yeah, it's not quite big enough, I suppose. It doesn't need to be quite as big these days. That is a good thought, though. I can't see any reason why it can't be, except it's probably a little bit small for that. And
Yeah, because
it actually is in the right direction too, to go straight into the bottom of the tower, which it's in the right direction at the tower too. The cryopipes are coming out this side, aren't they?
yes. So we expect them to come out this direction.
Yeah,
Because
maybe it's a pad for the new hippos, or maybe it's something to do with new pumps like they did at Macy's. Maybe it's going to be Macy's, sorry. Maybe it's going to be something like the pump stand at Macy's.
Yeah, possibly with above ground pumps versus the ones that they dug in for the original tank farm plumbing. That very well could be. And we know we got all the steel over here for the rest of the walls, the final column that will go up in the corner over here. So you'll have a wall here, and then that final column will go right there, and they'll join all those. Thinking this may be part of a roof section.
Yep.
And like I said, got all the steel there. Got more over here. And we got this thing just keeps going and going and going like the Energizer Bunny.
Just zoom out for a minute. Is that heading towards the corner of the block from the tower? Where is that exactly? Oh, that's over that way. So it's on the flame trench going that way. The drilling rig, I mean, the constant flight drilling rig, the blue drilling rig just up the top of the picture, or now down to the left of the picture now. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's in the upper bit, the blue digging machine, digging the pile holes. It's out in which direction we think that the flame trench is going to exit out that way. I was sort of expecting some to come from the tower to the left towards the corner of the building too, perhaps, but I haven't really seen many out in that direction. No, away from the tower, straight away from highway, yeah, down that way, yeah. I haven't seen too many down there yet.
Watching the Ariane 6 launch the other day, the way their flame trench was set up, that kind of reminded me of basically the shape that they're piling here. How it goes on each side and basically a T shape. Especially since we believe the stand will be right here.
It's through the diagonals. It's almost in line and slightly towards the upper part of the photo is the center of the OLM.
Yeah,
I did a measurement the other day. If you go diagonal to diagonal, it's almost that distance as well away from the tower. And there, it's just slightly towards the top of the photo. It's a little bit off center. Remember the OLM? It's not quite in the middle of the diagonal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right through here.
Yeah.
Because this is the corner. There's a wall. There's a wall. And then it'll be kind of right through here. This area right here.
So the little lot on the other side of the highway, have they anything changed over there?
In the little lot?
The parking lot across the road.
Staging area. Yeah, that area.
Not really.
We saw the steel for the top of the. It's still there, so they still haven't put those bits of steel near the big bits of steel near the entrance. That are the top plates for two of the tower bases walls, with the 45-degree angles on each end. They still haven't put them in the tower, right next to the entrance, just down a little bit.
Right there.
Those big bits.
Yeah, once they do the concrete, those will go on.
On top, yeah, fair enough. I think we can go to questions and answers. Questions again there.
Real quick, Steph, the
Yeah.
white ring around the mystery square, according to I believe that's who said it. It is shoring for the dewatering area, possibly being made for and used for a deep foundation when it's excavated.
Okay, that makes sense. I knew they were dewatering around it, the white frame around. I knew that was for dewatering, yeah. But they're sort of digging the whole square where you could put formwork just inside that hole, yeah.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a hefty pile cap in there, whatever they end up putting in there.
Yeah, they brought out the heavy-duty formwork for it, for sure. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate your input.
And I appreciate the back channels that we have. We got a great team here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I say, I only ever, I'm usually just repeating stuff that people smarter than me have said in other channels, and I'd just like to convey the information that we hear. Thank you, Joe.
Yep.
Yeah, chat's saying that that's a sandbox for all of Elon's kids.
Wouldn't
So
shock me.
what's that?
Wouldn't shock me.
I know, right? Asper sent a €5 super chat. My perfect Saturday evening is listening to y'all. Greetings from Germany. Keep up the great work. Thank you for that. Toby Wilby has a question. Would the stubby horizontal tanks even fit in that area? Trying to rule that out. I believe being the vertical tank farm area.
Yeah, they're quite small. They're smaller than the current horizontal tanks.
Yeah, and there's quite a bit of space in there, whether they have to dig concrete out, which we all know they have no problem doing. They could flatten that area, stitch them together, and they would definitely fit in there if they needed to.
So yeah, he's talking about these two tanks right here.
Yep.
Correct.
So those should fit with no issues.
All right. A couple of related questions from Seabreeze as well as Toby Woby asking about the concrete pour schedule for the tower. Do they pour every 3 sections, 2 sections, etc.? How many sections can they stack before the base walls need to be filled with concrete?
That's a very good question. And
Yeah.
for the we know the columns were already poured in the tower base, so they were able to start stacking. For the first tower, they had the concrete foundation, but they didn't start actually pumping concrete into the tower until it was completely stacked. However, the segments, the modules, already have ports on them. Plus, there is a concrete pipe running up the sides of each module. Let's see if we can get that.
When they do the concrete pumping, they won't just pour it from the top of the tower. It creates too much pressure at the bottom. You can blow the steel out. They'll do it possibly at each section as they go up, but like Lawrence just said, not until the whole tower's stacked. It's a good question as to how much that base can handle without the lateral support of the walls being concreted. There's plenty of vertical support with the columns, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what's going to carry the load of the tower anyway. The walls don't actually carry much load, I would imagine. I guess those diagonals may transfer a bit of load through, but I imagine the walls also offer some lateral support to stop to create the parallelogram so the columns don't fall over. So I'm not sure how high they can go before they need to fill the walls up with concrete. So they're still currently welding the walls as far as I know. So they'll have to finish welding the walls together, then they'll fill them up with concrete. So for now, they seem competent to go at least 2 sections without pouring the walls, and we'll soon see if they're competent to go 3. We'll soon see.
Yeah, and right here's that pipe I was talking about that they'll use to pump the concrete up to each section. You can barely see it on section 2 right through the crane here.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, we got any more questions?
All right. Yeah, Toby Wilby asks, which is the flame trench direction towards the flats, correct?
It appears it's going. We'll get the photo up. It appears it's going 180 degrees, sort of diagonally straight. Lawrence will show you. That way.
It looks like they're setting it up to go that way. However, there's a possibility it could tee and go south towards the flats as well. So it could be, we don't know, but the way it's being set up, it looks like It's either going to be 180-degree two end or possibly even a third section. But it's definitely going to be different, a lot different than whatever Pad A has.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. Thank you, Joe.
All right. Dave Avery, I believe we were talking about the discussion of changing the entrance. Will Hoppy's leg be in the way?
They can just cut it off. I think they're going to pull down more shed. Like Lawrence was saying before, it's actually on a different level, so perhaps that keeps Hoppy actually safe, and it'll go next to Hoppy rather than have to move Hoppy. But that's a good question. They could just amputate anyway. Yeah. I think we'll find the edge of the gate is that staircase, that small staircase that Lawrence pointed out earlier. I think that'll be the edge of the gate.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see some railing go up there. And then I think this has served its purpose for the most part. In fact,
or they move Hoppy. No. A lot of people don't want to see Hoppy move. I don't want to see Hoppy move.
Jack Fire will chain himself with a pound of bacon to Hopper if they try and move it. Just saying.
Yeah, there was a lot of chatter about moving Hoppy over to the office building display and things like that. I don't know.
But yeah, I think this building has actually been replaced. A lot of the functionality has been replaced with this building now.
Agreed.
And our awesome producer is asking if we could wrap this up shortly. We're probably going to be running out of power and internet here soon. So I'm going to take one more question from Matt MMX. Elon was talking about adding a few sections, quote unquote, to Tower 2. Do you think it's possible they'll construct the tower in a way that they'll be able to add more sections later on?
Once it's built, no, because they're, like we were talking earlier, they're filled with concrete. So at that point, they're not adding on. Now, whether or not they do add on is really hard to say. If Elon was talking Elon, or if it was, it doesn't. We don't see anything right now that appears that will happen.
There is a part of section 4 and 5. I'm pretty sure there's 2 different heights they can have the SQD. So there is some adjustment in this tower, but not only for the height of the SQD, the ship quick disconnect arm. The tower itself, no, it's going to be fixed and rigid, like what Todd just said. All right, so that was the last question. Thank you, YouTube, and thank you for your patience with the difficulties today. Thank you all for your support. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. It just blew my mind. Thank you so much. It's been a difficult week, and I'm glad I stuck it out today. I couldn't run the show today. It was too much to concentrate on, as Lawrence will appreciate now. It takes a fair bit to actually run a show. So thank you, Darth, for doing that today. Thank you very much. It means a lot to me, and you did really well. Thanks, and thank you, Todd. And I'm going to sign out and leave it with Todd, and then Lawrence, and then thank you, Joe.
Yeah, just thanks again for everybody being here. We appreciate it. Yeah, we got a little bit of difficulties, but we made it through. Steph, our hearts and thoughts are with you and your family. If you ever need anything, you have a lot of friends to come to, so just feel free. You guys all have a great day. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way out. And thank you again.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Joe. Thank you to our great RGV team. Thank you to our wonderful and gracious community. And Steph, go get some rest. Our hearts are with you. And on that note, Astro Joe, you want to get us out of here?
You got it. I also want to thank some late-breaking donations. We got a PayPal donation from Jeffrey, $20. Very sorry for your loss, Stephanie. Here's something to help with expenses. I'll keep your family in my prayers. As well as Callistia Lee with a $20 super chat to end the show. Awesome show as always. I love the support and compassion this community has shown to Stephanie B. Agreed, Clistia. And I echo the sentiment of Darth, Todd, and thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Ryan, for jumping in. Appreciate the whole team. Emlyn, thank you. Sorry about your technical difficulties, but we'll wrap it up and just say most engines cut off. Hot staging confirmed. Love you. Bye.